Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at how we can get some more power into our shots, right? So it's a question I get asked a lot is, where does the power come from? How do we create more distance? So first of all, I think the most important thing is that you've got to strike the ball correctly, and that's where most people go wrong. So that's why it's so important to get that start like this, right? So you have the feel for where you've got to come back to. Okay, so you have that little bit of lean on the wall here. You've got that reverse K position. When you come back and hit, you're just slightly forward of that position. So you don't want to have to start back here and have to correct everything on the downswing. You want to have that shape, come back down, maintain it, get back into this position. So you get looking like this, the pressure is all going that way. Okay, so you can see I've maintained that angle in the back of my right hand here, and that allows me just to lean the shaft slightly and create some pressure into that ball. Okay, so if you can get that strike right, so that's why I think it's important to sometimes just practice smaller swings and try and get that strike right. So it's almost like a punch shot that we're practicing. Okay, so we're trying to get that lean into the ball with the shaft and the body. Okay, so that's number one. You've got to hit lots of little shots. You should be able to get some good distance just from small swings. Okay, so if you can't, then you're not coming into the right impact position. You don't have the club tracking into the right position as we come down. So that's number one. I always work on with my students. You've got to, with a little swing, create some good distance and create some lean with the body and shaft. And then I think the thing I see the most is just not enough power coming out of the arms. Right, so the arms get too locked up, either at address or at the top of the backswing, and there's no sort of arm speed coming down. So I've done videos before where I said you've got to get this left arm's got to be swinging, the right arm swinging and extending as we hit. So we've got to get those arms making that motion. But I think what I want to talk about today is that when we make the backswing, okay, we want to actually feel as the club goes around behind me. So I'm trying to keep this shaft away from my shoulder here. I'm trying to keep my lower body forward on the wall. If I do that, I start to create some coil in the body, right? So the coil, or the stretch, I like to call it, is all down here. So I feel like my left side is stretched, okay? So I can only do that if I maintain that radius and I keep that lower body forward, I keep my openness off the upper body. If there's any sort of lifting off the body as I swing the club, or any movement away from the wall, any movement with the arms close to the body, I don't get that stretch in this side. So I always want to feel that I've got that stretch in the left side on the backswing. Okay, so my lower body stayed forward. I've maintained the radius, kept the shaft away from the shoulder. Okay, and that gives me that coil feeling, or that stretch feeling. So when I feel that stretch, then I pretty much know the ball's going to go a long way. What I've got to be able to do from here is bring it back down into a good impact position. But you've got to create that stretch on the backswing. So it's not a case of just taking the club back into a position or just swinging it back any old how. You've got to look at creating a stretch or a coil as you go back. So you could think of it this way: as you get to the top of the backswing, that the coil is in this side, or the stretch is in this side. So all the energy is stored in the body at this point. Okay, and then your job is from here to get that energy into the arms, into the club head, and into the ball. So I see a lot of golfers, they either don't get the stretch on the backswing, or they hold it coming down, so they're just using the body to try and hit the ball. Okay, so trying to use the big muscles, just trying to use the body to get the ball moving. And the main reason they do that is they never get the arms swinging. So if you can get that stretch feeling on the backswing through keeping the lower body forward, keeping the overness, keeping the body over as you go back, and keeping the radius, then you've got all that stretch, and then from there I'm just trying to, as fast as I can, get that energy into the club. So I've got to feel that, although I have the stretch here, I'm almost losing that stretch straight away and putting the energy into the club head. So you've got to be able to get that club head swinging fast on the way down. So it's really a case of stretch and then swing fast with the arms is the feeling, right, for most golfers. Stretch the left side, create some speed with the arms and club coming down. So that energy is getting into the club on the downswing. It's getting into the club head as I come and hit the ball. Everything's expanding. My right arm's starting to expand a little bit. And that's how the energy goes into the club and the ball. So we're looking at creating a stretch on the backswing and then putting that energy that you've stored up in here into the club head. Okay, so if we can do that, we can then create more than enough power or distance to play good golf. Now we can practice this with the impact bag, right? So I can turn the club upside down, use my impact bag, and just practice creating a bit of coil in the left side, and then trying to get that energy into the end of the club or into the bag. So I create a stretch, and then I feel I create a swing from the left hand, okay, or the left arm. So I've got to get from here, once I get that stretch, my job is to get that moving, okay? I can do the same with the right arm. So I can go back, still create a bit of stretch in the left side. Obviously I've got this right angle here, and now there's going to be a bit of extension as I swing the right arm down. So it's basically these drills are teaching you to get that energy into the club head at impact. So we're looking at getting a good impact position where you can create pressure on the ball and be able to create some speed into the club head at impact, right? So you've got to get that stretch in the body, in this side. Lower body stays forward, body stays over, radius is maintained, and then the energy goes straight into the club. So you've got to practice these drills. You can also do it with both hands. Stretch, get the energy into the impact bag. Okay, so I think if we can practice this, this is how we're going to get more power if you're missing power. Number one, make sure you got your setup right. I want to come back into that reverse K position, creating some pressure. Okay, so I can like push the bag a little bit there. And then once we can do that with just a small swing, then as we do the big swing, we create the stretch in the left side through the radius, through keeping the body forward and over. And then we try and lose the stretch. We try and get the arms swinging the club head. Okay, so the energy is going from in here out into that club head by the time you get to impact. So work on that. I think you'll find your strike should then improve and you should get that distance that you're looking for.